Bom, 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 Mr. Stevie's Tall Toy Tales. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I bet you didn't think I was going to be doing this so quickly. I didn't think I would either. I seem to have been only doing videos this weekend. But the last time we did this, Let's Talk Toys, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It seemed like you guys enjoyed it too. There was I got like 1,000 views and some good questions and some nice comments. So I thought I'd do it again because it's really easy for me to do because I don't do anything. If you're looking at my other videos, I just did a video on Richard Scarry, 19 minutes long, fully edited, special effects, music. There's a giveaway. You've still got time to enter this giveaway if you want to. So go and check that out if you haven't already. But it took ages to do. It takes hours. I film it like in the morning and then I edit it in the afternoon. So it takes like a whole day to do. This is much easier. I put out questions. You lot come in and say, what about this? What about this? I look through all the questions. I get a good amount. I get probably like 30 questions, some of which I can't answer, some of which are just abusive. Not really. And some of which are like, oh, that's interesting. So we're going to do that. So hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good weekend. Over here where I am in sunny New England, it's bloody freezing. It's really cold. It's snowy. It's not too bad at the moment. The snow's due in. I was meant to be taking my daughter back to Cornell University today, but the weather was too crappy and I didn't want to risk a 12-hour drive there, 6 hours, and back 6 hours. So I'll put it off to tomorrow. I've got to do it tomorrow because I've got to take her back. She's got classes start on Tuesday. So wish me luck tomorrow. Hopefully the weather won't be too bad. That's a long, long, long drive. Anyway, so I wouldn't have been here to talk to you lot today if I was driving, but I am. So that's nice. I've been watching back all my videos and things, and I've realized that I've got to stop saying and I've got to stop smacking my lips. I smack my lips a lot. I've noticed. It's horrible. If you haven't watched videos of yourself talking or presenting or doing things, I suggest you do it. You become so self-aware of how you look and act. It's really weird. It's horrible, but it's really weird and quite useful. Anyway, we get on. Let's talk about toys. All right. So I can see a lot of people in the coming in the chat. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening, or wherever you are. Let's start. And again, I should organize these better. I have them all arranged at the bottom here, and I can't actually read what the questions are. So I should do a better job of naming them so I know what is what. So why don't I start with one? Let's go with that one. What's that one? Dean Lee. Hello, Dino. How are you, mate? You're always first there. You and Ron. Will the original 96 characters be released for retro as well as the new unmade figures? Now, as you know, I try not to make any of this toy talk, smacking my lips, Hasbro focused, because there are certain things I can talk about, certain things I can't talk about, and it's appropriate or inappropriate. But things that I have spoken about already, I'm more than happy to kind of reiterate and maybe dig a little bit deeper into it. So I'll always kind of do as much as I can to talk about things that are current and sort of more Hasbro focused. But this one's an easy one, and it's a broad one because basically you guys sort of decide really what the answer is to this. Smacking my lips again. Damn it, that's going to be really annoying. Anyway, as you know, so the retro line, I kind of kicked off. I remember pitching it back in like 2018, I believe, and it was like, hey, there are some figures that are really expensive in the Kenner line that people can't get, and they're carded in their thousands of dollars. Wouldn't it be really cool if we brought them back to give people an opportunity to kind of rediscover those classic, iconic figures from 1978? You know, like the Lukes, the Vaders, the 3POs and R2s and all that kind of stuff. It'd be really cool to bring them out. We might catch some old kind of hardcore collectors that remember them and can't afford them, or just want to kind of relive going into the shops, the stores, and kind of seeing them on the shelves again. And then we might be able to catch some casual collectors that sort of know Star Wars and were like, oh yeah, I remember those. I'll pick those up because they were like $10 or something. So that was the original kind of impetus for bringing retro back, I guess. But also it was a shoe-in to kind of say, hey, there were lots of figures that Kenner didn't do. There were lots of characters that never got made. And I always remember back then when I was pitching it, one of the ones that was an obvious one was like, where's my Tarkin? Like, I need a Tarkin. So, and we did a Tarkin. So it was set up to kind of reignite this nostalgia and the sort of respectful nod to Kenner, and also to continue the line. And we started doing that. Then it we started applying that retro platform to new entertainment, the Mandalorian, to the Acolyte, to all the different things like that, and Ahsoka. And it kind of, in my way, sort of lost its way a bit. It lost its, not lost its way, but lost its heart, lost what it was for. So when I came back on the team, we had a long discussion about it. It's like, hey, let's bring this back to kind of classic stuff. It's not for new entertainment. It's got to be of a time. The idea is that we imagine we're creating Star Wars figures in like 1985 when, Mark Boudreau and the team went and decided, you know what, we could do some more Star Wars figures, but they didn't, and the line fell away and, moved on. But what if it did continue? What are the figures in Power of the Force? It would have been Power of the Force 2 then, but you know what I mean? Power of the Force 2, what would it be? So, Dean, I'm eventually getting around to answer your question, mate, but I'm giving you a little bit of context. So the MO, the modus operandi at the moment is to deliver those never made before figures from classic original trilogy, probably, but they can be prequel as well. I think classic, but mostly original trilogy, classic figures that were never made, but also sprinkle in existing 96s. So will the original 96 characters be released for retro? Yes, but it's not the main focus. The main focus is delivering new characters and peppering in 96s. Now, you got to remember is that as we grow the line, because we're looking to grow the line, as you know, the figures that weren't done will get less and less and less. And therefore, probably the percentage of 96 figures will probably naturally just grow as we kind of blend them together. It's like a cross the streams, wrong brand, but you know what I mean? It kind of does that. So at the moment, I'm very excited about bringing new characters in. And when those new characters get a little bit kind of like deep cut, he says, in the Star Wars collector universe, I don't know how deep cut is deep cut, we'll pepper them in. So the answer is yes, but it's not the main focus. Until it is the main focus, until you guys turn around and say, hey, do you know what? We don't want these new figures. We want 96s. Because the other thing to remember is that when we make a new figure, that's new tooling. That's either new tooling, whether it's a new figure or whether it's a reproduction of Hammerhead. I'll say the most pertinent latest one. It's all new tooling. It costs the same to do. So like in our mind, I'm like, well, why would we do one that already exists? We should do ones that are new because it's more exciting and it's building and expanding the line. So there's your answer, Dino. It'll come, I'm sure, but it's not the main focus. And until you guys don't like that, we'll keep doing that because I think that's, when I've asked fans and I've had polls and my followers on Instagram, and that is by far the mix. It's like 5-1, 4-2. Like, yeah, we want new stuff, but we do like the 96s as well. And then it's really a question of like, well, which 96s? Do you want the original ones? Do you want ones that were really hard to find, like the double telescoping lightsabers or rocket firing Boba Fett, or do you want like the last 17? When is it appropriate? When isn't it appropriate? So if you've got thoughts on that, stick it in the comments below and let me know, because I'm always gathering information. But what I do love is that retro is seemingly picking up speed. It's getting some love, and I know those that you love it really love it. But we need to encourage purchasing, and we need to spread the word, spread the love, because it's a very small niche. If Star Wars is a niche, this is a niche of a niche of a niche, which is totally fine. But I'd like to see it grow, and I'm really looking forward to maybe surprising a few of you in a couple of years' time. Well, actually, not a couple of years, 1 year's time now. Blimey, where's it going? Anyway. So there, what's this question here? What's this question? Do you take note of custom retro from people? I know is the question. And there was a comment the other day, like, oh, they're doing it just to kind of, they're copying them. I'm like, what? Who's copying who? Like, come on. No, not really. I'm aware of them. I'm aware of the people, and I have great respect for some of their sculpts and some of the things that they're doing. Now, obviously, they're not licensed, so like it doesn't really have much bearing on what we do or don't do. I don't react in that way. Chris and I discuss what we would like to do and what would be fun and what we think the fans would like, and that's what we do. So no, not really. No, but I'm obviously aware of them, because if I'm not, I'm got my head in the sand, which I don't have. All right, next. Oh no, you're getting some good follow-up questions on this one. How about tri-logo cards of Palatoy? Yeah, I thought of that. I don't know where we stand with the Palatoy logo, though. I do have a friend that knows, Brian. But obviously we don't own Palatoy. It's a different company. So I can't just go willy-nilly slapping logos on cards as I want to, I'm not a customizer. But I have thought about it. It would be kind of cool. All right, let's take another question. Where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? Here. How does the made to... Oh, I've clipped that out badly. Look at that. Oof. Apologies. Graphic design 101. How does made to order model work for business versus crowdfunding? So this one, I'm going to talk very broadly. I'm not going to get into numbers for Hasbro per se, but it is an interesting area. And it's one that I'm going to talk very broadly because it changes for different companies and it changes for different retailers. But the rule of thumb that I use, and I'll try and explain it and articulate it as clearly as I can, but it can be a bit complicated. And as I say, it's different for everybody and each company and retailer, is let's look at the different scales of selling things. So the easiest way of selling things is we're just going to call this selling stuff. So I make 10,000 things and I make them in the factory. I ship them on a ship. They arrive at retail and then you buy them. And you can buy all of them. All of them will sell, or some of them will sell, or none of them will sell. But I've made those 10,000 things. I've invested in the tools. I've invested in the unit cost. I've invested in the shipping, and I've made them. And then, and then you buy them. So that's a sort of a simple retail route. I make it, you buy it, or you don't buy it. The next one up from that, we'll call it up or along from that, is pre-order. So the way pre-order works, basically, again, it's all changing. My big caveat, everyone's different, is that I make 10,000 things. I've invested in the tooling. I've invested in the unit cost of making them. I've invested in the shipping, and I'm taking it to a retailer. But along the way, usually when it's on the water, on the ship, I'm going to offer you, the consumer, the chance to pre-order. It's already made. Most of the time, it's already made. I'm going to offer you a chance to pre-order it. So you can get yours early. You don't get it early, you guarantee it early. So if there's only 10,000 coming and 2,000 of you want to pre-order, then the 2,000 of that 10,000, when it arrives in the warehouse at the retailer, gets moved aside because they're pre-orders, gets sent to you, and the rest of the 8,000 then goes on for sale. Make sense? So pre-order doesn't really give you anything extra. It just allows you to bookmark your amount from the set 10,000. Make sense? So that's pre-order. Right, pre-order. The next one, which I'm going to call made to order, is slightly different. I'm going to make this thing, right? So I've invested the tools. All right, this is the key difference. I've invested the tools, but I'm not going to make it yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a made to order quite a long way ahead in advance because I haven't made anything yet. And I'm going to say, how many of you want this? And if 2,000, 3,000, say 5,000 of you say, yeah, I'll have that made to order, those orders come back to me and I make 5,000. I don't make 10. I don't make 2. I make 5. I may make a little bit more for some contingency, but most of it is about how many people want this actual thing. Then that goes on the water, goes to retail, and it is sent directly to the people who have made to order. Now, some people who have made to order may cancel some things. They may see excess, their returns and stuff like that. And those little bits may go on to regular retail, but it's much smaller. So on a made to order, I'm investing the tooling done, but I'm only investing the units made depending on how many people make that order. Okay, so there's a difference, a big difference between pre-order and made to order. Then you've got HasLabs and crowdfunding. Now that is basically made to order, but I don't invest in the tools unless enough people make a made to order that says, yes, I want it. So if I look at my thing and I got to make 10,000 of them, I have to wait until the pre-orders, the made to orders, hit 10,000 before it's worth me investing the tooling to make it, to ship it, and to put it into retail. And it goes directly to those people with very few leftovers, unless they're returns and things like that. So it's regular sales. I make it, I invest in it, I sell it, and it's a big risk. So I've done the risk in making it and a risk in selling it because none may sell. That's where you get closeouts and things like that. Pre-order, I'm still investing in it. It's shipping, but there's sort of a little less risk in terms of the amount of people because I kind of guess how many people are going to want a certain amount of it. The made to order is less risk altogether because you're only making the amount that people want. And then the crowdfunding is there's least risk at all because you haven't even invested the tooling before you've sold it. Does that make sense? It's difficult. And again, caveat, caveat, caveat. Every company does it slightly differently. There are lots of different ways to do it differently. There are probably new ways of doing it, but that in essence is the way that I try and process it in my brain. And hopefully that answers some of your questions. All right. What's this question here? What would it take to get TVC to all the stuff and quality. You don't think the same quality? Well, I disagree with you. I think the quality is pretty much the same, and characters from a show. More sales, a larger audience, a larger consumer base. Black Series, well, you can count the items, number of items. There's a certain number of Black Series and a certain number for TVC. That is based on the number of sales for each of them. So when I talk about balancing the scales, a lot of people think that that's doing the same. It's not. It's proportional representation. It's like if Black Series sells this to this many people and TVC sells this many people, if we do a new like Mando movie, if we do 10 figures for Mando there on Black Series, then balancing the scales and proportional representation should be like 5 for TVC, because they're kind of like, well, you can count the numbers. It's sort of like half the amount of people. So that's what it is. I mean, your TVC is an incredibly passionate and incredibly dedicated fan base. It's just that we sell less of them. So that's just the way it is on that. But as you've noticed, and I hope you notice, I spend a lot of effort and a lot of time singing the songs and the praises and advocating for TVC, because it is a very unique scale and not many people do that scale. I've seen some other companies doing that scale more, but like, I think Star Wars is the heart of 3.75 super articulated. So spread the word, advocate for the scale, advocate for the brand, and bring new people in. Let's build out the ranks, and that is how you get more stuff. That's economics. All right, next question. We did that one. See, I can't even remember. We did that one. We did that one. What's this one? What would be a dream figure that would be, I don't know why I'm reading it as if it's the first time I've read it. I've read them and selected them. I have one. I have a lot, but I have one which I'm really surprised hasn't been made. And you tell me whether it has been made, because I don't know everything. Goodness me, I miss things all the time. So I love ET. All right, I'm a big ET kid. I used to have newspaper clippings stuck on my wall when I was 9, 1982. I loved ET, bawled my eyes out. I collected the stuff. I remember I remember my mum used to cut my hair. And those of you who see me young, I had very bowl hair. And I remember saying to her vividly, saying, "Mummy, can you cut my hair like Elliot from ET?" And he obviously didn't have a haircut style. And she was like, just chopped it about. But anyway, I love ET. I'm surprised. Now, this is NECA. So my good friends at NECA, they do nice realistic ET 6-inch scale, whatever scale it is, probably actually more like an 8-inch scale. Did a really nice job. But I want a Hot Toys ET. Why has there not been a large format, super detailed with the sort of silicone skin, just like, that's what I'd like. I want that. Why? Where's that? See, I love this figure. I've also, I don't know whether you've seen it on my customs. I took this old 1982 LJN figure and I painted it up to look a little bit more like what they were doing at NECA, but keeping it kind of retro. And you know what else I did? I also put in a little heart light look. Can you see that? That's mine. It's one of my customs. It's one of my best customs, actually. It's actually a custom that I look at and go, yeah, you did a good job on that, Stevie. So that would be my answer. And I probably got another 6 or 7 things that I could tell you, but I think that's my big one, because I'm surprised I haven't done it. Now, you tell me whether they have done it. Just looking now. I was thinking about that the other day. Yeah. Okay. All right. Next question. We're going on. Can you break down more of how a design comes to life? And I'm not calling anybody out on this, so I probably seed it. Can you break down more of how a design comes to life? How many people it takes to make it? Now, this is an interesting question, because on the side, I do a little bit of lecturing, which sounds very grand, but it's giving talks to university students, high school students, and sixth form college students too. I just did one in England. And I talk about the toy industry and how to get in it, and how it also works, and how we develop and make toys, and the number of people involved. So I've got some slides that I can share with you that we can talk about. I can't go too deep with examples for IP security reasons at this scale, but more than happy to kind of grab a couple of slides and take you through it. And I also do talks on it's like a pitch. I do talks on like innovation, and I do a big talk on failure. I'm big on failing. I love failing in terms of how it works for innovation. But that's a whole nother toy tales, maybe, or just a Stevie tales. So why don't I pull up to the stage this? I'm gonna have to take you off so I can see everything. So in essence, on average, and I've spoken this about this before, toy takes about 12 to 18 months on average to get from idea to on shelf. Now, we're always trying to make that shorter, and certain things take longer, certain things take less time. But in essence, it takes about 12 to 18 months. And so the process is we have an idea. Idea is usually led by insights, or it should be. What is everybody saying? What is the consumer saying? I do this stuff and all my Instagram stuff to get insights. Insights are snippets and nuggets of thoughts and feelings and sentiments from the customer, which in this case, as I'm fan product, is you lot, collectors and fans. So ideas and insights start. That's where we start. And we come up with a concept. Let's do this. Then we share this with our licensors if we need to. Like, hey, Lucasfilm, hey, Marvel, we want to do this. And they go, yes, you should do that. And so we then move on to sculpt. So we start using digital sculpting techniques. We use, oh my God, what's it called? What is the sculpting? Oh my God, I've a complete mind fart. ZBrush, thank you. I was trying to F. ZBrush. We use ZBrush and SolidWorks mostly for our kind of sculpting. And then we sculpt that up, and we 3D print that out. We make a prototype. And then with that prototype, we usually get it into the hands, especially if it's a kid stuff more than fan and collectors. We get it and we do some testing. We get kids, we see how they play, see how it works. If it's fan stuff, we'll look at it, check the scales right, and we'll move it around ourselves. But there's a testing period of like, okay, is this all right? Yeah, okay. And if it's all right, we then at the same time start looking at deco. How many hits are we going to do? What color is this? And spec out all the PMSs. And then and only then, when we've sort of got, yeah, we want to make it, yeah, this is sculpt, it's all approved, we then go to tooling, because tooling is an expensive bit. Tooling is when we cut steel, when we make steel cases that we inject plastic injection molding into it. So that's a big, big step, that tooling. Then, and not necessarily in this order, but like packaging, we're also looking at packaging. All right, how are we going to package that? What's the film out? If it's a TVC card back, what's the film out? Have we got it? Do we have to search for it? Do we have to tidy it up? What's it going to be called? What's the VC number? And we do all that. So while the tooling is kind of being made, and they're practicing, putting plastic in it and seeing what it looks like, and we're doing the packaging, and then we come to what's called first shot, which is that first injection of plastic, and it's usually with weird colors. So all of you that see prototypes out there on eBay, however they've got those things, which they shouldn't have them, they're all in weird colors. That's called a first shot. Some people call it prototype, but it's like it's a first test of the mold, and we get just whatever plastic's lying around, whatever colors we've got left over, we just pull it in and we see what it looks like. And when it comes out, once you've got it in real plastic, you can see how it fits, how it moves, and we might need to change the mold a little bit. We might need to add bits, carve a little bit more out of the tooling, and then we do it again. We refine and refine and refine and refine until we get to a point where it's really good. Then we have production samples. Then our production sample is really the final tool, and we're starting to put proper color plastic in there, and we're starting to start put decos on and try that and test it out, and we'll check that, and then we'll go to full production, and then we ship it, and then it hits shelf. So it's a long process, and it takes a while. We're trying to do it quicker and quicker and quicker, and there's certain technologies that help to speed that along. But the amount of people that are involved in this is huge. I worked out that there is about 20 disciplines. Now, these aren't people, these are disciplines involved in making stuff, making not just toys, but like stuff. From insight researcher, we have insight research. They find out what you want. Now, I do a little bit, but we have a whole team. We have a whole research department that finds out what customers want. We've got a product. We got our marketeers. Sorry, always marketers. I always call them marketeers. It's like mouseketeers. Marketeers. They decide what toy is needed. They work with retailers and they go, okay, we've got an opening for this, and they're doing research. They're the sort of the kings and queens of research. Like, what do we need to do? Then you have the product designers. You have us guys who go, hey, we could do this. Then you have the mechanical engineers that actually really make the toys that go, well, you can't do this, you can do that, that's got to fit in this. No, Steve, AT-ATs can't walk. And then I argue with them. I go, they can walk. I mean, we're going to make it. And then you have electrical engineers that help us make AT-ATs walk. They work out, all right, well, okay, animatronics, you need to do this. And we do this. And let's make a new circuit board. We need a new chip for this. Why don't we make one? Okay. You have inventor liaisons. Some of our ideas come from outside places. So we find toy ideas from inventors. We have sculptors, digital sculptors. They sculpt it. Model artists. They take the printouts, the 3D models, and they paint them, hand paint them, or do inkjet, or sometimes digital. That's difficult to say. Digital sculpting and digital artistry and decos. Technologists, they do all these weird and wonderful things. How the hell are we going to make this lightsaber work? All right, well, I'll work with the electrical engineer and a technologist who specializes in this. We got chemists. I released a thing called Real Webs a few years ago, which is like a chemical reaction. So we have chemists in the company doing that. We have structural engineers. What's the packaging? How big is it? We have copywriters. What's the story? Keeping track of all those VC numbers. Graphic designers. What's the packaging going to look like? What images are we going to do? Hey, which comic panel should we use for this Marvel Legends? Which one's the right one? How do we get that? Let's brief in a new artist. Photographers. We got Matt Cohen. We've made these things. They've got to be photographed. They've got to be photographed for commercials and PR stuff. Consumer marketer. How are we going to advertise it? How are we going to run conventions? They're different marketers from the product marketers because they're sort of more advertisers. How do we advertise? Cost engineer. How much is all this costing? I've got to keep a track of how much it's costing, how many deco hits. Quality assurance. Is this safe? Is this going to stab someone in the face? Project managers. The overall, the overarching. Hey guys, we've got 12 months, 18 months. You're late. You're on time. Do this. We've got to move this around. Sales representative. Once we've made it, they've got to sell it. We've got to take it to retail and say, hey, do you want this? Here it is. Look how good it is. And then merchandisers. These are sort of back in fashion now. How does this look in store? End caps. How does it be arranged? What's the graphics that need for the front of it? Physically going into stores and working out how it all looks. So there's 20 disciplines here and like hundreds of people all to bring a toy to your shelf or my ET figure to mine. Now, that was a whistle-stop tour. If you're more interested in like what it takes to get into the toy industry, this is my unashamed plug. Go back to season 2, Miss Stevie's Toy Tales, episode 1 and 2, talk about how I got into the industry. Some observations on what I think is needed to get into the industry and the benefit, the pros and cons of being a fanboy or fangirl getting into the industry. Because I tell you, if you, it helps to be a fan to get in, but it can also be a detriment because you have to make business decisions. And a lot of fans and collectors just want everything. That's not how business works. So anyway, check those 2 episodes out if you want. And also, if you're interested, jobs.hasbro.com is where we, Hasbro, are always looking for new talent, new employees. So I am advertising coming to work for Hasbro. So that was a whistle-stop tour of those questions, wasn't it? Hope that educated you a little bit. Let's have a little look up here. Why is Dean getting a lot of mention? Everyone's just saying Dean, Dean, Dean. Somehow Tetley has returned. All right, Tetley's a good question. The amount of people involved. How does we're human. How to run a base. There has been, you find me any line that hasn't got a mistake, any line, toy line, anything. There's always mistakes. I have never once made anything that's been perfect. And that is a bit of a glaring one. So I'll take my hat off. Like we all missed it. I think because the rest of the wave was done Phantom Menace boxes, it just got into the system. Like we make hundreds of figures across Star Wars and Marvel and thousands of products across, the whole of Hasbro. And sometimes it just happens. It happens. I'll hold my hand up as much as anyone else that like saw it and went, yeah, it looks great. Didn't read that little thing that said Attack of the Clones. Now he's in Attack of the Clones, but he's not really in that costume. So yeah, there you go. All right. We're all human. Oh, that's the question. Who makes the tea? Yeah. We get our own. We have to get our own. We actually have a Starbucks in Hasbro, which gives us free tea and coffee. So we go and get our own. Anyway, so there are all the pre-planned questions. What about you lot? Have you got any questions? Now, I did see one early on. Let me see if can I do this one? What is this one? I never know how to say your name. I want to say Job 1, but I don't know how you want it to be. Is it Joby 1? Joby 1 Kenobi? I don't know. You tell me. What is the most personally rewarding and the most challenging thing about getting figures made into collectors' hands? Any standout moments? The most rewarding is getting it into the people's hands and when they love it. The most challenging is it's not challenging anymore. It used to be, and I've said this a number of times. I can't win. And I tell anyone that joins the team, the first thing you've got to realize and you've got to learn to accept is you can't win. Within collecting, within fandom, there is no way you can win. You can't fully win. There are so many of you out there with so many different preferences, so many different wants and likes, and are what's the word I'm looking for? You scrutinize everything, and you should. And you should. That is not a knock at you lot at all, because I'm exactly the same. You love this stuff. This stuff that we do, we love it. It takes up a big part of our lives. And every little thing we want to look at and understand and challenge and ask for. So the biggest challenge used to be, I can't win. I can't please these people. I can't please. And it's like, as soon as you accept that, that challenge then turns into motivation, because that motivates me. Believe it or not, it really motivates me. I don't know whether I'm not blowing smoke, but like the packaging thing, like that motivates me. It's like, right, how do we stop that happening again? Like, that's crazy. So I like it when I do win, when we have small little wins, when we get out like Chalman, when we released Chalman. None of you guessed it. None of you. And it was like, as a real left field deep cut. And everyone was like, oh my God, that's cool. Then the people come in, well, I don't want that. It's like, oh, I know. It's just impossible. So my pain is my gain, I guess, is the answer to that question. The line between love and hate and success and failure is so very slim. It's a knife's edge, which is part of the lecture I give on failure, where people are afraid to fail. And you cannot innovate and you cannot do anything new without failing. Because if you're not failing, you're not trying something new, because naturally, if you try something new, it's not going to work first time. Dyson is a good example. I think it was 1,572 prototypes he did before he worked out how to do the bagless vacuum cleaner. He failed 1,500 times before he got it right. So that is my challenge. That is my lot in life. But I relish it and I love it, and I know the team do as well, and especially the more mature ones once we work it out. Because when I was younger, that was hard. It was hard. Anyway, who's this? What? You would rather have a Dyson than a Chalman? Well, you go and buy yourself a Dyson, mate. It's going to cost you a lot more, you cheeky devil. What else we got? Oh, obviously not one of your fan favorites. I'll get you next time, don't worry. Or I'll just get you. Okay. There we go. I think that's about it. I can't always look at those comments, but stick more questions in the comments below, because I'll pick them up for the next one of these, because I like doing this, because it's nice and easy, and I get a real sense of connection with you all, which is kind of cool. And you kind of learn a little bit about what happens behind the scenes without me giving too much away. And I like it. All right. Everyone, wish me luck tomorrow, because I got to drive 12 hours, hopefully not through too much snow and ice and all that rubbish. Say a prayer to your God or whatever you want to, that I'll find my way home safely. And until next time, bugger off.